talk to you again today. I hope that you're doing good. I hope that you had an amazing week because I did too. Today is going to be quite interesting because I'm not the only one that's going to be talking to you. I have someone with me who is going to answer all our questions, especially questions that I have gotten in my private mailbox. His name is Emeka Nobis, and he's an amazing person, trust me. Emeka Nobis is a phenomenal change agent and a catalyst. And if you're one of those people who is on your level up journey, especially in your career, I feel that Emeka Nobis is somebody that you should follow and listen to quite often. He's also the CEO of Switchpath Consulting, and Switchpath Consulting is also a consulting firm for businesses. Emeka Nobis has written over 10 books, and trust me, I'm still reading them, but they are all amazing. And like I said before, if you're someone who is on that level of journey in your career and in your life generally, and you also want to be a change agent, he is someone that you should look out for. He's someone that you should follow. I'm going to put the links to these books in the description box. So if you're interested in checking them out, you could just click on the link and it would lead you straight to the books and also to his website. Emeka Nobis is also my friend, although quite often I have to review the status of our friendship. So today we're going to be talking about dead weight. And I noticed that most of the questions that some of you sent to me were actually referring to dead weight, summarily. And I just want to give like a summarized, how do I put this? A summarized answer, a summarized set of answers to your questions. And so I decided to interview someone who has been in that situation and who has successfully come out of those kind of situations where you have dead weight in your life, especially when the dead weight is unavoidable to an extent, So without too much talk, we'll go into the interview. And if you have more questions for Emeka Nobis, you can either mail me or put them in the comment section below. All right, if you're yet to subscribe, please do that now before we go into the interviews, because the interviews are they're going to be so interesting. You would totally even forget about the fact that you're supposed to like or subscribe. But I trust you. I trust everyone that has watched my video. I trust everyone that's watching my video, and I know that you're going to share this video because it's going to change the life of not only your friends, but even other people in your class, in your workplace. I know that it's going to change your lives because it will change my life as well. All right, so stay tuned and let's get into the interview. Okay, so how do you get rid of dead weight in your career?
So I'll ask you again, what do you mean by dead weights?
Say people who you realize that are no longer relevant in your life,
Well, the thing is that you don't go around dumping people or telling them that they are no longer relevant in your life. That's very emotionally disturbing and painful. The thing is this, you understand that as you're on a journey, there are people who will not buy into your current state of mind and your realities. It's just the way human life has been designed. So as I'm expanding in my thinking, expanding in my reach, there are individuals who are not stretching the same way I'm stretching. The normal thing will be for them to just fizzle away. So,
on their own?
On their own. So there could be conversations that have been happening regularly, but because right now you are in a different bracket and the kind of way that you're thinking is different from the way they're thinking, you may not be able to hold those conversations. And those conversations are lifeblood in relationships. And so as the communication is kind of no longer as aggressive, let me use the word, as it used to be before, gradually it will just declines and all that kind of, then fizzles away. That's how I look at it, basically.
Okay, so what if the dead weight in question is someone close to you, say your mother or your father, or maybe a relative, a very close relative that you cannot avoid relating with?
Well, the dead weight, I think it still boils down to the conversations you're still holding.
Okay.
So my mom, for example, I cannot dislodge my mom from my life, especially if she has not done anything life-threatening to me. But the thing is this, when it concerns that particular area of my life, I will not hold those conversations with her. I'll give you a particular example of myself. So when I wanted to resign from paid employment and I went to speak to my mom's reality of life is that you finish university, get a job, and then work up that job till you are retired. That's our own reality. And I don't have anything against it, because when their own time, they leave university and then they're snapped away immediately by a company. They work for the company for 35 years and then they resign. They retire, and then they get paid gratuity and all that stuff. But trying to accept the kind of world that we have right now, the world of the millennials, is not something that is easy to transition. And so when I began to tell her about resigning from my job, I began to notice her words. She didn't like it. She didn't want it. She began to give me many examples of individuals who have failed after having resigned from their jobs. And I didn't want that, because it was affecting my psyche. I needed to have reference points that could inspire me, that could build my faith to know that what I'm going into the future can work, can succeed. And so when I realized that anytime I talked about resigning from my job and what I wanted to do as an entrepreneur, she was always coming up with examples that were making me feel that I wasn't taking the right decisions. So what I did was to stop the conversations around anything that had to do with resigning, to do with business and all that. We could discuss on any other thing, but I wouldn't confide in her. So I'll give you another particular example. When I was working in the office back then, so when I began to find out that I was loving certain personal development concepts and all, I felt that my colleagues in the office should start learning the same thing. So I walk around the office and tell them about the books I read, the seminars I attended, people that I connected with, thinking that I was doing good for my fellow colleagues. But then I realized that I now realized that anytime I was approaching offices, I began to hear certain muffling sounds about, oh, he's coming again. So I now realized that I was a burden to them. Instead of being a blessing to them, I was a burden, because they felt that my own reality of life was far away from theirs. Theirs was to work on the job, perhaps get a bigger job, move on to the bigger job, like that. So we were not in a match. So what I did was to stop. So I stopped going to the offices, I stopped telling them anything, and I found one particular guy who was interested in my journey. Because he was on the same journey. And so during lunchtime, whenever the person had gone to eat, we'll just come together, and then we'll start talk about our aspirations, what we're aspiring to do, our plans and all. And so that was how it was till I resigned from the place. So you do not hate them, because your realities are all different. So they're not able to match. It's just like you trying to envisage something that you have never experienced. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're just trying to envisage something that is non-existent. It's kind of puts pressure on the brain, because you have not felt it, you have not experienced it before, you don't know what it is. And so trying to think it, trying to put yourself in that kind of situation causes a lot of pressure on the brain, and not everybody can accept it. So that's what is happening to them. That pressure, they don't want it. So you just cut off, that's it.
Okay, so did you just stop all of a sudden?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Going to the offices?
I gradually I started reducing my visits. So maybe if I were visiting 5 times, I reduced to 3 times from there, once. I didn't stop completely, but what I stopped was having those conversations. I mean, going to tell them, oh, I found this guy's amazing. Oh, you need to watch this video. Oh, this guy is bam, those kind of talk and all that. I stopped all that.
Okay.
Then my conversations were around what they wanted to hear. Either they were parties that we're going to, things that were happening around the office, all those normal amebo gists. I would gist with them, leave the place, and then focus on do something else. So
okay,
that's it.
That's interesting. So my last question now is, how do you handle friends and colleagues who feel that you're no longer on the same level with them? Say maybe you're moving higher in your career And sometimes you don't even do it on purpose, but they just start feeling, oh, he or she is no longer on our level, he's feeling too big or she's feeling too big. How do you handle that kind of environment and that kind of because those people end up maybe gossiping you or being envious of you sometimes, so how do you handle that?
But there's nothing you can do about it. First and foremost is to protect yourself first. Protect your mental health is very important. If you keep on moving around and feeling that people hate you and all that, it's going to affect a lot of things for you, right? So it's still the same thing. I heard this thing that 20 kids will not play together for 20 years.
Okay.
20 kids will not play together for 20 years.
Okay.
I don't think it's possible. People who grew up in the same environment, 20 kids, a particular estate, and then they still stay close till, I don't know the possibility of that happening. So it's the same thing with life. Because people are stretching. They are stretching in different ways, in different angles. And there's something you may be doing that I may not be able to stretch to do.
Yeah.
Two things will either happen. Two things will happen. So either I start to admire you and then want to have this relationship with you that can help me to start to embrace this kind of things you do, or I see it as intimidation. And then I start to see sometimes those comments that they make is because they now found out that they are not able to control your life the way they used to do before. So imagine before they used to call you on the phone, we want to hang out.
Yeah.
And then you come rushing. Now they call you on the phone, they can't control you the same way. That loss of power is what makes them to alter those kind of things that they're altering.
Wow.
Because it's a loss of power. Like I say something to you before, you used to come running. Right now, you're no longer running to do the same thing. So it's like a loss of power, right? So that loss of power that they're experiencing is what is making them to use those words to perhaps see if you can fall off your seat right now back to where they used to have you before. So that's it. So two things: either they begin to live up, or they start to express that disdain. And trust me, that expression of disdain is not just because they want to express it, because of that loss of power. They're not able to come into their circle anymore, they're not able to think the way they think anymore. So that's it. So see how you can improve your mental health. It's important. You can't do anything about it. You can't control it. It's out of your control. It's not a narrative you can control. It's for them. So all you need to do is guard your own self. Do not hate them, but understand that this is just the way it is. So that's what I can share. That's how I've worked on myself over the years, basically.
Wow. Okay, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And we hope to get more of your time in future videos.
Okay.
All right. So you all heard it. You can't control them, but you need to. I think what's the most important point that I'll take away today is, you need to guard yourself mentally. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
Guard yourself mentally. Don't go around thinking that, oh, I have haters, I have people who want to kill me, I have people who hate me and all that. No, guard yourself mentally. I think that that's the most important point for me. And then another point is you can't control the way that people would think about you, especially when you're on the level up journey and they feel like you're leaving them behind. So thank you very much for your time. Hey guys, so you have heard it from the horse's mouth. He's not a horse, but yeah, I mean, you've heard it from him. Don't be over-conscious of haters. Don't be over-conscious of people around you that don't understand your level up journey. And if you're that kind of person that has been scared of leveling up in your life, in your career, because you're scared of what people would say, I think that you know better by now. Don't be scared of people. Just do your thing. Improve on yourself in every way possible, and I tell you, the universe would respect your decisions. The universe would respect everything that you're doing, and I know that success is your portion. All right, so for those of you who are interested in checking him out, I have the link in the description box, and I would also like you to share this video. I can't say it enough. The videos on mindful living have changed my life, and I'm sure that it will change your life as well. So till I come your way next week, I'm Esther Lakesh, and this is still Mindful Living. Ciao!